Hey, everybody out there in podcast land, Joe Buddy Lance Strang, and you're asking yourself what's happening today. Well, the first thing I can tell you is I was playing with all the buttons on the controllers here on our vast array of recording equipment. And I think I'm not sure if I like this better or not, this sound better or not, but we'll find out. So anyways, this is just a quick podcast. I was in Greeley, Colorado about a week and a half ago with Model Railroad News editor Tony Cook. We stopped in there, and while we were there, we met up with a fella named Norm Wolstein, who is coordinating a special event. It's their first year for this, and it's about getting the youth involved in the hobby. And trying to help anybody that's got enthusiasm for trains, to especially young people, to explore that passion and maybe bring it to life. Norm was a great guy to talk to. He had a T-shirt that said "The Grateful Dude" on it, so that was pretty cool. I'm not sure if I like this new sound or not. I'm gonna have to check it out. It's I've turned down the gain a little bit, and I turned another button. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how this works out. Okay, so check out this podcast. It's about 16, 17, I don't know. It's less than 20 minutes. How about that? It's just a quick podcast about what they're doing out there in Greeley, Colorado at the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. And it's pretty cool. It's their first year. Walthers is involved. Walthers Distributing from the Milwaukee area is involved. And I think it might turn into something pretty neat. So that's it. Subway chime, go! Okay, so now I've been to, let's see, where all have I been? I've been to the Dressler train, Spring Creek model trains. I've been to see the big boy. I've been somewhere else too, but I can't remember. I'm dizzy now. So now I'm in
Colorado Model Railroad Museum.
And that voice is, your name is?
Michelle Kempema.
Yes. And we're sitting here with
Norm Wolstein.
And the reason we're doing this, Michelle and I are going to talk some more later, but Michelle was showing us around the place, and Norm walked up, and then Michelle started telling me about the tracks to success, and it's about keeping the hobby going. You guys are going to have to explain it to me.
Well, when I got to the museum, I've been on the board a little over 3.5, 4 years now, and early on I was asked to, can you guys get involved with the youth program? And having zero experience, I reached out based on my experience and looked, well, where do we have youth in the community? And it's all about getting youth engaged in the community. And my focus is twofold. One, obviously, to get involved in the hobby, but two, to help the kids grow. And there are some guidelines for STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, math, curriculums throughout the country, which have evolved to STEAM, which is very appropriate. The A now adds art. And it's perfect to utilize model railroading to teach them all these skills. Right. And so I reached out locally based on some advice. Some of our members had their kids attending a local charter school called the School of Innovation here in Greeley. And the next thing I know, I've got a volunteer too, and Michelle and Sherelle, some of our staff, and we're teaching the kids how to build dioramas. It went from dioramas to Woodland Scenics modules. It went from modules to small layouts. And as part of that, we started to engage the local boys and girls clubs here in Weld County. And there's 5 different clubhouses, and we've been to 4 of those. We just started getting engaged with the 4-H. We do Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Daisies, Brownies. We conduct Boy Scout Merit Badge University classes twice a year. And so it's all about teaching history as part of it, but also giving them the skills to be successful in their life.
So I'm not one of these people that goes, woe is me, the hobby's dying. I personally think because of social media, the hobby's going to explode and we're all going to be covered with model railroad goo. That's my personal opinion.
And we agree with you to a large extent, and that's why particularly over the last couple of years, we've focused heavily on social media. But the example I'll give you is, and based on my career, and I'm retired, but I believe strongly in collaboration. And so collaborating with the local schools and getting involved where kids are present and seeing what engages them in that environment has led us down certain paths. And an example I'll give you, those of the folks that really know our layout is Supreme HO layout, one of the best in the world. But when we were doing these classes at the local schools, sometimes we'd be short people or short materials or waiting on something. I'd stop at Walmart on the way in, and I'd look around, what do I do with these kids today or tomorrow? I'd see Legos. So one day I brought in some Legos, and the kids' eyes got about 3 times their normal size. One thing led to another. I started getting educated on Legos and found out that Lego trains are huge throughout the world. So that's how we've kind of developed. We don't necessarily think that the model railroad hobby is dying. We think it's evolving and changing, and will engage with different groups of people.
So what is it you guys are doing? Because you started to tell me about some sort of what do you call it, a seminar?
We're having a seminar with some invited folks that includes manufacturers, some folks from the local nonprofits that we deal with, some train enthusiasts from clubs down in New Mexico and in Utah and locally. Some folks had been working for youth for a long time. And so we're trying to get together and help teach each other and collaborate. What's been successful in your segment, what's successful in our segment, how do we grow and learn from each other and support each other. And we're really excited about having Walthers, the manufacturer, come on board, because they're, for obvious reasons, very engaged. And we're going to see where it takes us, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think some of the outcomes we're looking for from this is a way to make things more, what's the word? Like, they're going to be the same across the board, so that we're all utilizing the same products, the same, like we maybe put together between all of us a kit. T-Tracks are very popular. T-Track is very popular with the mom who thinks that, oh, this fits in my home, whereas a 4x8 sheet of plywood is not really going to go in my kid's bedroom as easily as these T-Tracks that I could stack up in a closet. And so that might be something that we could create basically curriculum around it. So if you have a club and you've never worked with kids, you could get a kit that tells you really what you do, what you say, just like how a school curriculum is sent out. Because so many clubs want to work with kids and they don't have the resources, and they have to reinvent the wheel. And they have to say, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with, how do I work with these kids? And how do I create structure for classes? How do you get a 12-week program? And so we want to create curriculum, things like that. So there's a lot of ideas coming together.
So for those that aren't familiar with T-Track, it's an N-scale based module that uses Kato Unitrack. And they have standard widths, single, double, triple. They have standard radiuses in different formats and Ys, so that you can build a very sophisticated layout. I think Michelle last year went to Kansas City show. There were over 186 modules. But the thing that makes them very, as Michelle described, very useful for us is the beginner, the single module is about a foot square. Now, to be honest, they're in centimeters, not feet. And they're very closely controlled so that the connection of the modules is literally done with the Unitrack. And so when you plug the Unitrack together from one module to the next, and you go around an oval, you've got a layout. And it's standardized now, and you can find that at ttrack.org. That's trak.org. They've got standards, they've got specs that people follow for wiring and how to hook it all up, so that people from different locations can all come to a show in Kansas City, or like they did in Salt Lake City over the summer, and plug their modules together and runs, just like some of the other stuff. The nice thing, though, that Michelle emphasized, they're a foot square. Yeah. So they don't cost a lot to put together. For example, if you go retail, a standard foot square module from one of the manufacturers, and there's 3 or 4, is about $15 for the module itself. And then maybe another $6 to $8 for the Kato track. And then we're very fortunate here at the museum, we get a lot of scenery donated and buildings. And so that's really our investment, and we've gotten a couple of grants that help us so that we try as much as possible to do this with our kids at no charge.
So the T-Track then is something that for not a ton of money that somebody could give for Christmas.
An easy way to get in the hobby. And we want to create something for HO also. I mean, the next step is to do something similar with HO scale.
Exactly.
We want to cover and then get the manufacturers to present it in a way that when I was before I remarried, as a mom, a single mom, whatever, with my kids, if I wanted to say my kid wants to start making a model railroad, I'm going to go to the Walthers website and I'm going to be overwhelmed. So how do you put it together?
Yes.
And that's part of what we're going to talk about
Yeah.
at the summit. How do we all figure it out? So when a mom walks in this museum, I can say, you can go here and it'll tell you what you need and how you
Right.
get that.
And some of that is available on the T-Track website. And again, just to be clear, it's t-trak.org. But for example, for here, I've created a little handout, 5 pages long, that shows our community how to implement
Right.
T-Track.
How to do
So
it
if
for
you
us.
wanted to do it in your church or your local school, or you've got a group of
Sure,
daisies, yeah, we'll help you build the first one. But here's the manual. Here's all the links to the different websites you need for information. And then the parents can do it, because for a lot of folks, the startup costs, not just in dollars and cents, but in knowledge, are a little bit overwhelming. They don't know where. So
Yes.
Exactly.
we wanted
Absolutely.
something that we could plug together. And I think what emphasized to us why it was so important is our experience with the Lego trains and the Lego education program. And I had no idea it existed. I'd played with Legos and this and that. But if you go to the Lego Education org site, they have a curriculum on this STEM or STEAM that teachers who have no background in science or education can use. And they have all these curriculums for a 45-minute class for their kids. And if you buy this kit or that kit or that kit, a teacher with very little knowledge, maybe looking at it, reading it the night before, can go in and have a very useful and beneficial session with their kids. And the T-Track kind of parallels that with us, so we're kind of following the Lego model, for lack of a better word.
So who had the seed of the idea for this? Was it you?
Well, I
Yeah.
kind of...
You have a shirt that says Grateful Dude.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of trouble concentrating because you have a shirt that says Grateful Dude.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I buy these shirts from Life is Good t-shirt place because they help motivate me and keep me optimistic and positive.
You don't own Life is Good. How old of a man are you?
I'm approaching 70. We'll put it that way.
Well, so am I, Norm, but I mean...
Okay. My birthday is October 5th, so that's high in my visibility right now, too. But thank you for asking. But no, it motivates me, examples. It's my opportunity to give back to society.
Sure, okay. And you just had the seed of this idea, and then you went to Michelle, and the two of you kind of started...
Well, I was
working-
asked to initiate it, and I had no clue what to do, but working with Michelle...
We asked Norm to come on the board to do this, to help, because I don't have time to manage. My time is so limited for new projects and new things. Norm came on, and Norm is a big picture thinker, and we tend to jump in.
So when is this forum? Are we calling it a forum?
It's later. It's the third week of...
Summit. It's called Tracks to Success. It is the first one, and it is in October.
And it's a forum, and where are you going to have it? Right here?
Yeah,
And
we're using a different. We don't have meeting space, so we're off-site, but we'll be here and off-site, and
And the date is?
October 18th.
So then I should actually put this out the week before.
You should, yeah, so
Yeah,
people can see what happens. Because
Michelle, you listen to the podcast, and you know not everything comes out on time. So I should actually make a point of putting this out for you
But
guys.
we'll come back and tell you how it goes. It's new. None of us know what to expect. We're just going to get together in a room and see what happens.
We're
So
excited.
We're
But there's
super
some of us
excited.
that are forward thinkers. One of the gentlemen, Blaine, actually put out an email this week that says, well, I don't want to raise this too early, but where are we going to do this next year?
Yeah, that's good.
We're trying to focus.
And so who are all of the manufacturers? You have Walthers? It's just Walthers so far, or have other manufacturers
I
gotten
know
involved?
Soundtracks wanted to come, but Nancy's on a trip.
Have you asked other manufacturers?
We have. We were pretty short notice on this, and so a lot of them were already scheduled for things. So I'm thinking next year it will probably grow if we do it again. Now, what we did think to do is John Abaticola with
Yes,
TSG
TSG
Multimedia
Media.
is coming, and he'll be recording, so we can share it. And so
And
out of
it-
that, we should have something we can share out.
Everybody is bringing their own information that they supply to their community, and hopefully we can take the best, merge them, grow them, make them more useful, and make them readily available to folks that want to initiate
So this is the
programs.
first year. You're willing to... You really don't care what the result is. You just want to get it started.
Exactly. If you never start something, you don't go anywhere.
First step.
First step.
And the first step is to find a guy with a shirt that says Grateful Dude on
Don't
it.
you think? I
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I guess I wore the right shoe.
it. He always wears
My
an
shirt
appropriate
yesterday was from the same company, but it was called Full Range Human. That was my
Free
newest.
range human.
Free Range Human. That's
Like
the
a
newest
free
one.
range chicken.
So we're walking through Garden of the Gods, and people go, "I like your shirt. I like your shirt." They go, "What does that mean?" I said, "It means I'm not 9 to 5 anymore."
Okay, so to make sure that this goes out, I'll put this out what's the 18th?
It's
Saturday?
a Friday.
All right, so I'll put it out the Friday before, which will be the 11th.
Yep.
I'll post it on my podcast. But to do that, we have to make this as one whole show. So now we have to finish the show, which is the hardest part, because now I have to say the email address, which is modelerslife@gmail.com. That's modelers with one L, like railroad, not two L's like Lionel.
Got it.
And we have a website called themodelerslife.com. So if you go there, which I'm sure you've been there many, many times, I know, like you've probably listened to every podcast and some of them twice.
I wouldn't lie to you. But I will going forward. We'll put it that way.
And so we have a website, modelerslife.com, and yet we also have a part that's very important at the end, which I'm going to have Michelle do. When was the last time you listened to the podcast, Michelle?
Well, I've been traveling, so probably June.
All right. Do you know the part at the end where we go, remember, Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10?
10 doctors.
Exactly. Well, you have to come up with something else.
Oh, I
so
do?
the appropriate moment, it's going to be up to you to come up with something. And then this will be one show all by itself that I'm going to release on October the 11th.
Well, that's very exciting. I'm
It
looking
is
forward to
very
hearing it.
exciting. And I'm basically introducing the Grateful Dude to the world.
You are, because he's a pretty cool dude.
Norm, the
I have
Grateful
to be
Dude.
careful with that. I'm looking forward to the consequences.
It's called
Throwing
Tracks to Success. It's about bringing the next generation into the hobby. And it's going to try to involve as many people as possible. And next year you're going to have more manufacturers. And this year you have Walthers. Have I hit all the high points?
I think so.
We're
going to have fun, too.
How would people find out about this? Okay, so somebody's listening to this podcast, and they're going, oh, man, that sounds cool. I want to go because they live in the Colorado or the Denver area. How will they find out about it on the internet?
Well, we kind of sent out through clubs and manufacturers and stores, and we kind of just,
Our Facebook
it's been an
page
organic
and all that.
growth. So it doesn't have a home on a website at this moment anywhere.
Do you have any information about it on the Colorado Train Museum website?
Nope.
I think we may have to add some real quick.
I think you should.
But we
Yeah.
could do that. And if someone did want to come and they're close enough they could come, that would be fine.
And I do want to say, I'm very pleased to have met you today by chance. My wife says there are no coincidences, so maybe this will lead to something
Oh, and
really
now we're going
big.
to shake hands. We're shaking hands now.
So
I'm
you have
holding
to
the microphone.
you have to juggle the
All
microphone.
right, I'm juggling now. Michelle is taking a photo. All right, are you ready, Michelle? So remember, a Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10.
Free range humans or chickens.
It's another Lincoln Homer.